That'll do it. It's usually not like Larry to do it off with. Yeah. I guess technically today it's based Yes, I am.
We will go ahead and call the January 21st, 2026 APC public hearing to order. First item on the agenda is the roll call.
Jackson Bogan.
Present.
Tracy Brown.
Present.
Ben Carson. Brad Halberg. Jody Hamilton.
Here.
Larry Leverins. Chad Lohmeyer.
Here.
Diana Looper.
Here.
Tom Murtaugh.
Present.
Kathy Parker.
Here.
Vicki Pearl.
Here.
Jerry Reynolds.
Present.
Todd Rosworski.
Present.
Gary Schroeder.
Here.
Steve Schul.
Here.
Steve Snyder.
Present.
Stason Weedy.
Here.
Quorum present.
On to the election of the officers.
Very good. My name is Eric Burns, and I'll be conducting the election of the President of the Area Plan Commission for the upcoming 2026 year. And I would like to open the floor for nominations for President.
I move to nominate Jackson Bogan for president. Second.
We have a motion or a nomination and a second for Jackson Bogan. Are there any other nominations for President? Any other nominations? Hearing none, all those in favor of Jackson Bogan for President for the APC for the year 2026, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? A unanimous vote for Jackson Bogan for President. Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Well, I'm a little shocked I didn't hear more nays. Thank you very much. Request nominations for the office of Vice President.
I move that Larry Leverins be nominated for vice president.
Second.
I move that nominations for Vice President be closed.
Second.
I move to cast a unanimous ballot for Larry Leverins for Vice President.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. I think I totally screwed that up. I think Gary was supposed to read
That's
all
all
of that.
right.
All good.
Yeah.
On to Gary.
I move that Gary Schroeder and Tom Murtaugh be nominated to represent Tippecanoe County.
Second.
I move that Jerry Reynolds and Jackson Bogan be nominated to represent the city of Lafayette. This is for the executive committee.
Second.
And I'm getting here. I move that Larry Leverance and Kathy Parker be nominated to represent the city of West Lafayette.
Second.
I move that Diana Looper be nominated to represent the towns of Dayton, Battle Ground, and Clarks Hill.
Second.
I move that nominations for the executive committee be closed.
Second.
I move to cast a unanimous ballot for Gary Schroeder, Tom Murtaugh, Jerry Reynolds, Jackson Bogan, Larry Leverance, Kathy Parker, and Diana Looper for the executive committee.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Area Board of Zoning Appeals representatives.
I move that Gary Schroeder be nominated to represent the Area Plan Commission on the Area Board of Zoning Appeals.
Second.
I move that Robert Novak be nominated to represent the City of Lafayette on the Area Board of Zoning Appeals.
Second.
I move that nominations for the Area Board of Zoning Appeals be closed.
Second.
I move to cast a unanimous ballot for Gary Schroeder and Robert Novak for the Area Board of Zoning Appeals.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. On to the briefing session. Ryan?
All right, good evening. Well, I wanted to welcome our newest member, Stacey Wheat. He's joining us, and we're grateful for his term of service here. And wanted to also let you know all cases are ready to be heard, with the exception of our continuance in the zoning section. We have to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Approval of the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes from the December 17th, 2025 public hearing as submitted.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. On to new business. I'm not there yet. I don't.
You want my motion first, and then you can read that one?
Is this, yeah, this is where I need to read a brief statement
Yeah, public
beforehand.
hearing. Yeah.
Yep,
as
for
we-
the
as
public
we enter
hearing.
the public hearing.
For those of you unfamiliar with our procedures, the Commission would like you to know the following. When we hear a request to subdivide land, we are only concerned as to whether the actual drawing showing the division into lots meets the technical requirements of our ordinance. The question of appropriateness has already been determined. Anyone wishing to make comments or provide us with the information regarding any subdivision petitions will be given the opportunity to do so. When we are hearing a request for a change in zoning, we are trying to determine if the new zone being requested and the uses allowed in that zone are appropriate to that property and supported by the comprehensive plan. With each case being heard, our staff will present its report, then the person requesting the rezone will be given an opportunity to speak. Following that, those of you wishing to speak in favor of the rezone will be recognized, and then those of you wishing to oppose it will have a turn. This will be your only time to speak. The person requesting the action will be allowed a rebuttal. Plan Commission members will then ask questions and finally vote. Please limit your statements to no more than 5 minutes. We ask that you not repeat what others before you have already said. We are a 17-member body, and a majority of 17 is 9. Regardless of how many commissioners are actually present, at least 9 votes in favor or 9 votes against are required for our action to be official. If fewer than 9 of us agree to either approve or disapprove an action, that case must be heard again next month. Our vote to request to subdivide is final. Our vote on a request to rezone serves as a recommendation to the appropriate city council, town council, or county commissioners, who must ultimately decide on changes in zoning. When addressing the commission, please state your name and address for the record. Cell phones must be turned off while the meeting is in session. If you need to make a call, please step out of the room before using your phone. All exhibits presented to the commission become the property of the commission.
I move that there be incorporated in the public hearing portion of each application be heard this evening and to become part of the evidence at such hearing, the Unified Zoning Ordinance, the Unified Subdivision Ordinance, the Comprehensive Plan, the bylaws of the Area Plan Commission, the application and all documents filed therewith, the staff report, and recommendations on the applications to be heard this evening and responses from checkpoint agencies.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That carries.
I move to continue Z 3018 JHS Investments Group LLC, NB and R1 to GB to the February 18th, 2026 Area Plan Commission public hearing.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That carries.
I move to hear and vote on S 5318 Heartland Estates Subdivision, formerly Dayton Road Subdivision, major preliminary.
Second.
After you.
Good evening. Amanda Esposito, APC staff. So we are here on the south side of Dayton. This land was annexed by Dayton in early of last year, and it is just across Dayton Road from the Baker Farms subdivision on the east side there. Currently, it is unimproved. It's in row crops right now. I've been told that the developer of this subdivision is the same one who did the Baker Farms across the road. They are proposing a 109 lot, or no, that's the Baker Farms, sorry. This is a 108 lot and 3 outlot single-family residential subdivision. You can see the site plan here. Pretty standard conditions, and they are requesting permission to bond. So we are recommending conditional primary approval.
Thank you very much. Petitioner? No comments from the petitioner? Fair enough. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Anyone opposed? Anyone up here want to speak? I'm nailing it so far. All right, with that, Heartland Estates Subdivision Major Preliminary S5318, and don't forget they are requesting permission to bond.
Get the unanimous ballot for conditional approval.
Thank you. S5319.
I move to hear and vote on S 5319, Bower Ridge Estates Subdivision, Major Preliminary.
Second.
All right. This case was previously heard under S 5272. Main reason we're back is there's been an adjustment to some right-of-way, which would trigger the submission of a new petition to essentially make that correction. This is the general location and kind of general outlay there. Here's our site plan view. And I believe, yeah, let me back up. It's kind of the, let me try the, it's going to be in this area here. In the kind of southeast corner where that cul-de-sac is shown. Given the proposed road work that is being planned along its eastern boundary, we would essentially have an extension in its kind of final version of the roadway. There's going to be kind of a temporary, right in, right out, and then at the end of the day, there'll be a cul-de-sac. And so this is in service of essentially the first installment of the 231 extension, which, although is not, the alignment is not decided, it's still a ways off in terms of its final alignment. When you get down close to where the intersection would launch from, there's kind of really no question about where it would generally go, given the Hadley Lake and some of the other items in the vicinity. So County Highway felt very comfortable making this deal here, and so staff is supportive of it. The variance that was requested was approved by the county commissioners this week, and so we are recommending conditional approval based on the standard conditions that are here. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ryan. Petitioner or petitioner's representative, care to make a presentation?
Hello, I'm Nick DiGiacomo with Tiber Design, Lafayette, Indiana. I'm representing the petitioner. Yeah, Mr. O'Gara said it really good. Basically, we've already been approved. We had a slight change like he referred to there at the east end of the cul-de-sac, and it required that variance. So we're just looking for approval, and we will follow through with the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. DiGiacomo.
Thank you.
Anyone in the audience wishing to speak? Questions from the commission? Okay, with that, we have 2 ballots. Remember, we do have a variance that must be approved, or that you must vote on first, and then we're voting on S5319. Friendly reminder, petitioner has requested permission to bond.
Okay, we have a unanimous ballot for approval for both the variance ballot and conditional approval on subdivision.
I move to hear and vote on S5320, Enclave at Klondike, major preliminary.
Second.
Mr. Burns.
Good evening. All right, the next case we'll be hearing is a subdivision preliminary plat for Enclave at Klondike. As you'll see here on the property, it has zoning of both R3 and GB, so multifamily and general business. We're on the west side of Klondike, just north of Lafayette Venetian Blind. As you can see, the property is mostly wooded now. And here, if we look at the preliminary plat, the southwest corner is platted as Lot 3, which is general business. And then there's a lot on the southeast corner that's also zoned general business. The rest of the subdivision is one lot consisting of 13 buildings and 240 residential units, as well as a clubhouse. One thing that's notable about this subdivision is that Maitland Drive, which is on the left-hand side of the screen, currently dead ends in the subdivision called, sorry, Blackthorn, thank you. The Blackthorn development to the left of this drawing had only always been served by one entrance on US 52. With this subdivision plat, all of that residential development will gain a new way out to Klondike Road. The alignment for Maitland Drive is shown being just opposite of a newly constructed Nugget Lane, which is part of the TSC Klondike campus. So this will provide direct access to the schools. A sidewalk is shown on, or I'm sorry, a 10-foot multi-use trail is shown on the north side of Maitland Drive. The subdivision ordinance requires a sidewalk or trail on both sides. In this case, the county commissioners granted a variance to not install a sidewalk on the south side. As you can see, a large portion of Maitland Drive will abut the property, so there's not a lot of reasoning to have a sidewalk on that side. And the commercial developments will probably have connections to the trail on the north side. So that's something that's a little bit different, but we're getting a 10-foot trail that leads to the school campus as a result. Staff is recommending condition of primary approval. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Burns.
Yes.
Petitioner or petitioner's representative wish to speak?
Good evening, Pat Williams, Tiber Design, 105 North 10th, Lafayette. Here requesting primary approval. I have nothing to add to staff's comments, but I am here if you have any questions or comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this? How about the commission? Okay, with that, we're going to repeat like we did last time. We've got a variance first that we need to vote on, and then S5320, the subdivision ballot. With bonding. Thank you.
So, I'll let you know. Was there what? Straggler? All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, unanimous ballots in favor of the variance and for conditional approval of the subdivision.
Thank you, Ryan.
I move to hear and vote on Z 3016 Parkview Health Systems Incorporated, I3 to MR.
Second.
All right, this rezone is in West Lafayette. As you can see here, it is currently zoned I3. The West Lafayette Common Council voted to rezone a portion of this site from I3 to OR, Office Research, earlier this month, but made the decision contingent on the outcome of an active lawsuit concerning the I3 rezone across Yeager Road to the east. So at present, as you can see here, the site remains entirely within the I3 zone. Adjacent zoning is OR and I3. There's a lot of extensive rezoning activity in this area of the county. I can't tell you the number of rezones that have been brought before this body in the last year. Currently, it is unimproved. It derives access from Endeavor Drive to the north. This is intended to host a hospital from Parkview Health. And the medical research MR zone was necessary for this proposed use, which is not permitted in OR. So that's why they're requesting the MR here, the medical research. If approved, a type A buffer yard, 20 feet in width, will be required where the site abuts the I3 zone. All right, MR staff feels that the MR zoning would be compatible with adjacent residential neighbors as it is one of the lowest intensity commercial zones, and it is at most a lateral shift from the previously requested OR zone and therefore compatible with the growing Purdue Research Park to the south. So we are recommending approval on this rezone. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Amanda. Petitioner?
Thank you, Kevin Riley with RTS Law, representing the petitioner Parkview Health Systems. Appreciate and agree with the staff's report, but I did want to add some additional details. Parkview intends to build a 40-bed inpatient hospital at this site with shelled capacity for an additional 40 beds. This would be the first hospital within the West Lafayette city limits. Do you have our slides? Did they make it into the deck? Thank you. So what we have on the screen is a proposed exterior design of the hospital. This is a non-binding, but we did want to at least give you an idea of what this could look like. And then there is a proposed non-binding site plan. As Amanda mentioned, we would have access to Endeavor. We are also in discussions with PRF and the City of West Lafayette for the installation of a new public road that would connect our site to Calbear directly across from the cut for McClure. And that road, as I understand it, would be installed at Parkview's expense. So that is planned access for the time being, obviously subject to necessary approvals. Pardon me, the hospital will include 4 operating rooms, 2 procedure rooms, and 2 cath labs. It'll be approximately 153,676 square feet. There will be an additional medical building consisting of approximately 35,000 square feet built on site. Hospital will include 24/7 emergency department, inpatient, medical, surgical, and specialty care. We did meet with members of the City Council over the past few months. We also held a public meeting, I believe it was in November of 25, to talk, invited neighbors to come and ask questions. To this point, we haven't heard any concerns, so we request your approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Mr. Riley. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor of this? Opposition? Yes, if you would, please come forward to the podium and name and address for the record.
Yes.
And then also we have a sign-in sheet, Ryan, afterwards, right?
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Deborah Ellis, 5101 North, 225 West. I'm asking that this decision to place a medical facility at this location be postponed until the following studies can be conducted and the results shared with the public. An assessment of staffing and capacity at current hospitals, taking into considerations others under review. A transportation study to determine safety and feasibility of ambulances and emergency service vehicles entering and exiting the area at speed. An area with mixed-use traffic that could include trucks carrying toxic waste and toxic material. Prepare and present a waste disposal plan. Hospitals are themselves a toxic waste-producing industry requiring their own zoning code. How will the community be protected from harmful materials and byproducts? And then the last one, a research rationale for why this specific location. It's my understanding that a second medical facility is being pursued a half a mile north of this site at the intersection of Yeager and 500. We certainly don't need 2 hospitals in this area, I would presume. Does SK Hynix's proposed does SK Hynix proposed nearby anticipate the need for immediate emergency services of this magnitude due to industrial accidents at its expansive factory? And is that driving this? Is this medical facility being proposed by the public or for being proposed for the public or for SK Hynix? I understand that our current hospitals are understaffed and struggling to employ enough qualified providers. I'm not aware that beds are full or that services are unavailable, so why another hospital, and again, why here? Dave Banger reports on May 7th, 2025, that NK Kim, Senior Vice President to SK Hynix, has said the company wanted to be near a commercial zone being considered for childcare, medical facilities, and other businesses. Is this medical facility the one that NK Kim is requesting to be near? Our public officials are elected to serve their public, not SK Hynix or any single industry, corporation, or LLC that may not remain on the landscape over time. We need sound decision-making here. We need proactive governance that looks well past the immediate horizon, not reactionary governance acting out of fear from a fictional threat of lost economic opportunity. NK Kim's desire for a medical facility should not be the reason to place a medical facility at this location absent a thorough study of need, traffic, and impact. It would be expected that this $10 billion industry that has offered nothing in the way of true commitments to our community would provide something of value, ideally an investment in our health, which they will threaten. To date, they have only demonstrated interest in self-gain at great cost to all residents of Tippecanoe County. They say that they want to be a good neighbor, but there is no evidence of this. PRF could donate the land in question for SK Hynix to fund a much-needed second wellness center to serve the community or reforest the land for the wildlife that will be displaced if allowed to build on sites A and B. We welcome downzoning of I-3 in this area, but would celebrate a down zone that actually serves taxpayers. Thank you for your support back in March for opposing the rezone of R1 to I3, and I hope to have your support in pausing this important decision until it's had critical, thorough review. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ellis.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition on this? Rebuttal?
Just briefly, this project has no ties to the SK Hynix project, so just to make that very clear. Parkview is aware of the other hospitals that are looking to build in the area, and they've decided that it makes sense that this area needs the services that they can provide. And again, I would note there are no hospitals on the west side, so the people that live in West Lafayette, west side of the county, they've got to go all the way over to the east side to get those services. So I'd say this is a much-needed service for that area of the county.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission?
I just have a question in regards to the lawsuit situation. Oh, in regards to the lawsuit situation, how do we vote on that if that we don't know? I mean, with this hanging out there, I understand what it says in the report. I'm just saying, does that not tie it up until it's complete or being removed from the lawsuit, or?
Well, I think first and foremost, what you do is a recommendation, and so whether the lawsuit was pending or not, the recommendation that you make is what's relevant, and it doesn't affect the ultimate decision except as a recommendation. So there's no affirmative action taken or not taken because of your recommendation, except the governing body obviously takes it into account in making their decision. So I believe it's beside the point because you're a recommending body.
Any other questions from the commission? With that, we have a yellow ballot, Z3016.
Unanimous ballot recommending approval.
Thank you, Ryan. This case received a recommendation of approval and will now be heard by the West Lafayette City Council at their meeting on February 2nd.
I move to hear and vote on Z 3017, City of West Lafayette, R1 to NB.
Second.
Welcome back.
Okay, so this takes us,
Okay, so here we have a site located on the north side of Calbear between Salisbury and Yeager. If you see, the property here is zoned R1 and surrounded by NB to the east and west and even a little bit to the north. The property currently contains West Lafayette Fire Station number 3. This was first begun in 2011. I think it was finished in 2012. And the fire station was permitted by special exception in the R1 zone. So the R1 zoning pattern here is original to when it was received its special exception in 12. Now that the property to the east and west and the north has been rezoned and is partially under development, the city wishes to have this a by right zoning district. If there's a need to change the footprint or to do something different with the fire station, it would be permitted by right and be held to the typical land use standards, as opposed to going back through another public hearing to increase the footprint or change the way the building is laid out. Staff is recommending approval of this rezone.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Petitioner?
Good evening. My name is Larry Oates. I'm the president of the West Lafayette Redevelopment Commission. And basically what we're trying to do here is a little cleanup of that area as far as getting it set for an expansion of Fire Station number 3. If you've ever been around that area, you'll know that Fire Station number 3, when it was built in 2011, 2012, was set up so that it could be expanded. In fact, currently we back trucks into that station, but we have doors on both sides that open, waiting for us to be able to connect a pull-through driveway off of the road that will be coming to the west side of the fire station through the fire station, which will make it a much safer situation, not only for traffic within that area, but even more important than that our firefighters can get back into the station house without being in a dangerous situation also. There are plans that we've started preliminary looks at plans to increase the size of this fire station. And part of that has to do with the fact that of all the development that you folks are keenly aware of to the north within West Lafayette, all of the subdivisions that have come in. And at this point, we need to add an extra apparatus to be able to respond to those areas. And to be able to do that, we need to house an additional 12 firefighters also. The fire department in West Lafayette has recently gotten a SAFER grant to be able to hire those firefighters. And so consequently, we're kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit as far as being able to get a place not only for the fire truck that has already been ordered and will be delivered in 2027 toward the end of the year, but also to hire those also to house those new firefighters once they're put into place. So truly, this is a cleanup situation. We're just trying to make it meld into the rest of the zoning that's going on both on the left and the right side of this piece of property. And we do have representatives of the city. The fire chief is here also. If there's any questions, we'd be happy to respond to those.
Thank you, Mr. Oates. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor of this? Opposition? If you would, please come forward, name and address for the record again, and sign in as well.
Again, not necessarily opposition, probably more like a pause. So, Deborah Ellis, 5101 North, 225 West. Rezoning considerations for the fire station and hospitals are not small decisions before you tonight because they exist next to land now zoned I3, not R1, at least for now. The implication on the safety for those who will work, sleep, learn, or heal in these spaces must be considered. I welcome the expansion of a fire station that serves the public. Fire Chief Jeff Need is quoted in Star City News on January 16th. Need cited the growth of the West Lafayette community as a driving factor for the move. Makes sense. We're trying to get ahead of all that growth and be proactive and increase the staffing so we can provide good service when our community needs it for any kind of emergency on the north end of the city. End of quote. Most of the housing growth in the north, and I might not be right here, but I believe it is actually in the county or equitably in the county. So I have a question. Can we expect the expansion of Fire Station 3 to serve those new housing developments, even though many will reside across the city-county boundary? The other northward development, of course, is the proposed semiconductor factory and its extended campus on sites A and B within city limits. SK Hynix has promised the community they will supply their own fire station and response team on site. They aren't paying taxes towards the current station or its expansion, so we will want our officials to hold them to this promise to see that the public is served by the rezone and expansion if approved, not a private industry. The location of Fire Station 3 and the pending expansion highlight just how dangerous and illogical it is for SK Hynix, PRF, IEDC, and West Lafayette City to continue pursuing sites A and B for a semiconductor fabrication factory. The fire station is located within, the blast radius for the proposed factory. Expanding the station north places it even deeper within this blast radius. Adding 12 more firefighters means more individuals could face potential harm caused by an industrial fire, explosion, or gas leak. Petitioner PRF has provided the distances of their buffer zones. What they did not articulate is that Fire Station 3 and the expansion, as well as the proposed child care center, are within their designated buffer zones. By definition, a buffer zone's purpose is to shield residents in commercial areas from industrial accidents or natural disasters. These are mutually exclusive plans. You have to either relocate Fire Station 3 and the planned child care center or relocate the factory to a more appropriate location. Logic says the latter is the better choice. Relocate what has not been built. The factory that thousands of local residents object to can be built in a safer location where it will do the least amount of harm versus where it now stands as causing the most amount of harm. Knowingly placing the lives of our respected firefighters within harm's way on a daily basis is a legal liability and is unconscionable. Firefighters' bodies, children's bodies, don't belong in a buffer zone. A buffer zone should separate bodies from harm, not place them within it. By definition, there is no buffer zone on the south side of Site B. It appears there's no buffer zone on the north side either, where we've been told by Hynix that many factory workers will live in the Aviata apartments. Please protect our firefighters from primary and secondary impact from explosions, pressure waves, and hydrogen fluoride leaks documented in SK Hynix's own safety records. In summary, fire stations, hospitals, daycares, homes, parks, senior living centers are incompatible with heavy industry. No meaningful rezoning decisions can take place without addressing this obvious truth. If you do choose to commingle this dangerous cocktail, at least create real buffer zones for those within the blast radius of the SK Hynix factory. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Ellis. Petitioner, Mr. Oates, you have a chance for a rebuttal should you choose to use it.
I just want to set the record straight on how much development is going on up there as far as residential uses. And as you folks know right off the bat, the Estridge subdivision that's up there is over 1,000 homes. That's all within the city of West Lafayette, will be served by this fire station. There's also the Arbor Chase subdivision that's up in that area. That's a couple hundred homes that will also be served by this fire station. So the need for this fire station, the expansion of this fire station is obvious if you take a look at what's actually going on within the city of West Lafayette. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Questions from the board? Hearing none, we have a yellow ballot Z3017.
We have a unanimous ballot recommending approval.
Thank you all. On to Oh, excuse me, that case received a recommendation of approval and will be heard at the West Lafayette City Council February 2nd. On to administrative matters.
Yeah, I have one item of correction. First meeting of the new year. I think we're all still trying to find our feet here. Under the Area Board of Zoning Appeals representatives, Robert Novak's name was mentioned. It should have been Brad Hallberg representing the APC on the BZA. I believe that. So I want to make that correction.
We should vote on that again.
Yeah, since there was an incorrect vote, I'd like to remedy that if we could.
So I would suggest that if there's going to be a new nomination, the nomination include the fact that we would remove Robert's name from that nomination list, correct?
From that position, in
From
favor
that
of Brad
position.
Hallberg, right.
To replace.
Yes, I will make a motion to remove Robert Novak as a representative from the City of Lafayette to the Area Board of Zoning Appeals.
It's not the removal. Go
No,
ahead.
he's still the representative
Yeah,
of
he's just changing
Lafayette,
seats.
but he was mentioned twice in the motions here, if you'll
So he
go
used to
down.
represent West Lafayette, now he's representing APC on the BZA because of the Rabita shakeup.
Understood, and so the removal of Robert is removing him as the APC representative on the BZA.
Yes,
He will stay on the BZA,
of course,
but
representing
not as the APC
Lafayette,
representative.
which I
Lafayette,
believe
but
is
we-
his seat.
But we don't
We don't
appoint
vote
him.
on that.
No, the City of Lafayette does.
That's
Correct.
correct.
So I was trying to correct that, if that was in order.
That'd be
To-
fine.
Okay, to remove Robert and replace with Brad Halberg, Brad Halberg as a representative of the Area Plan Commission to the Area Board of Zoning Appeals.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Smooth sailing.
Very sorry for that confusion.
Oh, yes, thank
Okay, ready to go back to the agenda.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Administrative matters.
I have a planning pointer for you titled Uncovering Hidden Home Potential, Home Occupations and Rural Home Occupations. It'll take just under 10 minutes if you all are interested in hearing about it.
It could be great.
Yep, okay. Well, the ordinance recognizes situations where certain uses could be allowed as accessory to a dwelling unit or home by right, without the need for a permit or public hearing. There are two categories, depending mostly on the zoning district for the subject property and its acreage: home occupations and rural home occupations. The differentiation is to ensure compatibility with permitted uses and neighborhood character that varies considerably with location and zoning. Home occupations are allowed in any non-rural and non-floodplain zone, as well as in A, AW, and AA zones, but only on a lot up to 2 acres in size, and any residential lot in an RE zone. Rural home occupations are only allowed on A, AA, or AW zone property on lots 2 acres or larger. Home occupations are subject to additional requirements, such as not allowing any alteration to the exterior of the primary use building, the home, or to the lot, which would change the residential character of the property. The operator of the home occupation must be a resident of the dwelling, and no employees are allowed who are not also residents of the dwelling. There are safety precautions in that the home occupation shall not involve construction features or the use of any electrical or mechanical equipment or combustible materials that would change the fire separation requirements of the dwelling, nor shall the home occupation create noise, dust, vibration, smell, smoke, glare, electrical interference, fire or chemical hazard, traffic hazard, or any other hazard or nuisance to any greater or more frequent extent than would be expected from a normally occupied dwelling unit that has no home occupation in it. No activity or storage related to the home occupation is permitted outside of the dwelling, and at least one additional off-street parking space needs to be accommodated on the same lot, in addition to the usual required residential dwelling unit parking spaces. Only articles grown or crafted on the premises may be displayed, stored, or sold as part of the home occupation. A home occupation is not a retail or wholesale establishment. Permitted home occupations may include, but are not limited to, the following: artist or sculptor, author or composer, dressmaker, seamstress, or tailor, one-station barber or beauty shop, computer programmer and business consultant, home crafts such as model making, rug weaving, lapidary work, cabinet and furniture making, antique restoration, and furniture upholstering, office facility of a member of the clergy, office facility of a sales representative, salesperson, or manufacturer's representative, provided that no retail or wholesale goods are stored or exchanged, office facility of an accountant, architect, artist, broker, engineer, insurance agent, land surveyor, lawyer, musician, real estate agent, telecommuter, or member of the recognized counseling professions. Class of special instruction, whose class size does not exceed 4 pupils and not more than 1 class per day, or group counseling session, whose group size does not exceed 5 clients and not more than 1 session per day. Individual instruction, individually ordered and/or customized items only, but no stock in trade, office facility of a building contractor, a transient guest room, an office of a state-licensed medical professional with no more than 1 treatment room. Any use not listed here may be permitted by an administrative officer, an AO, upon a finding that its characteristics are consistent with the purpose and description of the zone and compatible with the permitted primary uses in the zone regarding hours of operation, traffic generation, outdoor lighting and noise, vibration, dust, odor, glare, and heat-producing properties. The following are prohibited as home occupations, though some of them are permitted as rural home occupations when we get down to that list. Antique shop, automobile, truck, or motorcycle service, repair, salvage, customizing, or restoration. Barber or beauty shop with 2 or more stations. Gift shop, restaurant, bakery, or catering service, kennel, veterinarian or any veterinary clinic, office, or hospital, welding shop, bed and breakfast, and other activities having similar characteristics. So I'm going to switch over to the rural home occupations now. The additional requirements for rural home occupations are very similar to those already noted, such as not making any alteration to the exterior of the building or the lot, not allowing any activity related to the rural home occupation outside the dwelling except for certain situations like for seasonal farm roadside stands selling produce. What is different for rural home occupations is the allowance of up to 1 employee who is not a resident of the dwelling and requiring at least 2 additional parking spaces specifically for that rural home occupation. So all of the home occupations that were already listed are allowed as rural home occupations, in addition to agricultural equipment repair, automobile, truck, or motorcycle service, repair, customizing, or restoration. All work for this, materials, equipment, and unlicensed and/or inoperable vehicles shall be stored indoors. Farm produce sales, office facility of a physician, dentist, optometrist, podiatrist, chiropractor, naturopathic doctor, hypnotherapist, or acupuncturist. Office facility of 1 veterinarian, barbershop or beauty parlor, small engine repair, welding shop, individually ordered and/or customized items only, but no stock in trade, veterinary clinic or hospital, office facility of a building contractor. This one's unique in that outside storage of equipment and our materials associated with SIC Code 15, which is building construction, general contractors, and operative builders, and 17, construction special trade contractors, is permitted, but must comply with the buffering requirement of 499 and also the setback requirement of 4411. Outside storage of equipment and our materials for uses associated with SIC 16, which is heavy construction, other than buildings such as highways and streets, is not permitted, and all equipment and our materials on such a lot shall be stored inside a building. And then the final one is renting or leasing indoor storage space for large items like boats, RVs, campers, in a barn or pole barn. All such storage shall be indoors. Self-storage warehouse businesses as defined shall not be considered a rural home occupation. Any use not listed here could also be considered by an AO. There are some prohibited rural home occupations like antique shop, automotive salvage, junkyard or scrap metal yard, gift shop, medical clinic or hospital, and restaurant, and a kennel. So both home occupations and rural home occupations are allowed to use the name and/or address and/or home or rural home occupation on a sign. Home occupations and rural home occupations are only permitted in an ADU if they are accessory to the residential use of the ADU. Most members of the public don't know about this allowance that the ordinance provides for businesses. So when someone calls our office asking if they can do X, Y, or Z on their property that is used as a home, this is one of the first things that we as planners look at. Some challenges potential home occupations run into is the intensity of the use. They might be allowed as a home occupation or a rural home occupation, but not at the scale they envision, with multiple employees coming in from off-site. That type of business model is better suited for the appropriately zoned areas, not a residential neighborhood. So from everything we just covered, you can get the overall picture here that home occupations are not attempting to subvert the general purposes of the underlying zoning district. Rather, they almost work behind the scenes of a home. So, any questions?
No, thank you very much, man. Just a refresher, APC staff team put together a deal, a little continuing education if time allows, that they're going to do this at every meeting. And it'll be 5 to 10 minutes, barring my thought is that as long as we're under an hour from the meeting standpoint, that can work for us, or if the only exception to that would be if we have a 7 o'clock home Purdue game. So, then we'll wait on the continuing ed. But no, thank you very, very much. That's extremely helpful and gives us a little idea of what you all go through on a daily basis. Thank you. With that, we'll move to the approval of the February Executive Committee agenda.
I move that the following request for subdivision be placed on the February 4th, 2026 Area Plan Commission Executive Committee agenda at petitioner's request, placement thereon being without reference to compliance or noncompliance with the adopted subdivision ordinance. That would be S 5321 Wiggins Place subdivision minor sketch.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That carries. Director's report. Very thorough, by the way. Thank you very much. Anyone? All right. Citizens' comments, grievances? I knew everybody was happy. Okay. We'll take that motion.
Move to adjourn.
So moved. Thanks all.